Hello, everyone, and welcome to Explore the Agentforce Roadmap. My name is Austin Havliana, and I'm a product marketing manager here on the Agentforce team. Before we get started, just please make any purchasing decisions based on what's currently available in market today. That's especially important for this session as we're looking at the roadmap and some of the future things that are coming up for Agentforce. And before we dive in, just a huge thank you for joining us here at TDX and for this session. We're so excited that you're here with us today. And more importantly, we're really excited and thankful for all of the great things that y'all are building with Agentforce. Today, I am joined by three of our excellent product leaders here, Will, Deepak, and Shiv. They're going to dive into different areas of the roadmap and show you about some of the new things that they're building, what's coming up, why it's important for you, and what you can get excited about. To get things kicked off, though, I know you've heard this story before, but this entry story really helps us shape and understand how we think about the roadmap for Agentforce and the different areas of Agentforce that we're developing. As we know, every company will become an agentic enterprise. But what we're seeing, as our normal consumers, we're able to put AI in our pocket, have AI in our day-to-day. I know for me, when I'm on the train down to the tower in Chicago, I'm on ChatGPT, asking questions, figuring out some research, figuring out what I need to know for the day. But for the enterprise, getting that AI into the day-to-day of the enterprise is a lot more difficult. And what we've been seeing with a lot of our customers is that they're diving into and really leaning on LLMs. But LLMs alone can't get the enterprise to become an agentic enterprise. Those LLMs, they don't know your business, they don't know your workflows, your processes, they can hallucinate, and it's really hard for that LLM alone to give you the outcomes that you need to drive. What the agentic enterprise needs are really 4 systems. Starting at the bottom, they need a system of context. So all of those signals across your business that need to inform the jobs and the agents that you'll have running in your day-to-day. On top of that is the system of work. These are the apps, the workflows, the logic that's really specific to you, how you run your business, how those processes work, and how you need to act on that context. On top of that now is the system of agency. So this is the system that's orchestrating that work. That's those agents that you're building, the generative AI workflows that you're putting into your day-to-day. And finally, the agentic enterprise needs a system of engagement. That system of engagement, that's where your employees and your customers actually interact with your organization. They interact with the agents that are working off your business workflows, that are working off all your data. And for Salesforce specifically, this is what we call the Salesforce Agentic Enterprise Architecture. So that system of context, that's Data 360. That's bringing in all of the business data across your organization and making it available for the apps and the agents that are using it. On top of that is Customer 360. So this is the 26 years of Salesforce that I know everyone here is intimately familiar with. These are those apps, those workflows, those Apex, everything that you've built on Salesforce already. On top of that is Agentforce, which is obviously what we're going to be talking about today at the roadmap. And with Agentforce, that's where you're building, deploying, testing, and observing those agents. And finally, at Salesforce, that system engagement level, that's Slack for us. So Slack is where your employees, your customers are engaging and actually interacting with this whole architecture. I bring up this architecture because it also helps us ground us in the Agentforce roadmap. So if we look closer at the Agentforce roadmap, this Agentforce line item of system of work, we think about our roadmap and our product in 4 areas: experience, orchestrate, control, and operate. Experience, we're thinking about the channels and surfaces that your agents are going in. Orchestrate, we're thinking how we make your agents work together within your organization, outside your organization. Control, we're thinking about how do we actually make your agent perform the way that it should every time. And finally, operate, how do we actually make sure those agents are working? We all love to vibe code, but no one wants to vibe operate those agents. So how do we actually make sure they're performing and doing what they're supposed to be doing? So this is kind of the roadmap for this session. We're going to look at each of these 4 themes and explain and share a little bit about what's coming up on the roadmap for each. I'm going to start with control first. So since Dreamforce of last year, we've really made a lot of investments in this control area, specifically with our new Agentforce Builder and Agentforce Script. So with our new builder, you can now build deterministic logic into your agent. So before our Agentforce Builder and Agent Script, you used to have to put in some pretty convoluted instructions into the builder to get an agent to work. Always do this, but only if this happens, and then do this. which when it was sent to the LLM, that agent really failed and had a difficult time performing. So with agent script, we can now put that deterministic instructions and what we need the agent to do right into the builder. On top of that is intelligent context. This is part of that system of context layer with Agentforce. So bringing your unstructured, messy data, they could be PDFs, really complicated images, and parsing it in a way that makes the Agentforce agent understand exactly what it is. And finally, Agentforce voice, which Will's gonna dive into a second, so not gonna spend too much time there. So within this control layer of the Agentforce roadmap, just gonna do a couple quick highlights before turning it over to my colleagues. A few things on the roadmap. One theme that we're thinking about is how to improve that agent context. So how do we help your agent perform even better, know what data they're using, and so they know how to actually leverage the data and do what they're supposed to be doing. A couple features coming up. First, a curated long-term memory. So actually allowing that agent to remember conversations that have context about what's already happened. An example there, if I'm a seller, let's say that I'm starting my day and I go in and I say, hey, I need to health check on my hot leads. Agent comes back, says, okay, what's a hot lead? A hot lead's a deal worth over $500,000. End the conversation, maybe it's a Friday, I log off. I come back Monday. Without this, I'd have to explain what a hot lead is again. To that agent, I need my hot leads. What's a hot lead? It's a deal over $500,000. With curated long-term memory, it'll now remember that context, so I can come back the next day, start a new conversation and say, hey, let's talk about my hot leads, and the agent has the context of what I already met. Another improvement to improve agent context is enhancements to the Agentforce data library. So one big one I want to just share here is that previously you could only have one Agentforce data library, one ADL per agent. Now one agent can have multiple Agentforce data libraries, so it has more context, more information to run off of. The second theme coming up, few ones here, is actually improving how you build your agents. So one quick one first is actually enabling you to use Gemini for those agents. So when you select your model, having Gemini available there. And then the second is bringing that Agentforce Builder agent script to voice agents, which is actually how I'm going to hand it off to Will now to speak about that experience layer and get into the theme of our roadmap of the channels and surfaces where you deploy your agents. So I'll hand it off to Will.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Excited to be with you all today. Let's kick it off. So let's think about where we were last year. We released Agentforce Voice in beta and then GA, and we were really just trying to nail the fundamentals. When we said voice, what we kind of meant was telephony. It's the most important, obvious channel, but there's a lot of other pieces up there too. Voice and text also have different needs from a modality standpoint in terms of how snappy you need them to be. And this caused us to just try and get voice out there. And what we're really doing now is hardening this, combining it with agent script in some ways that I'm really excited to show you. Another big thing is languages, which I'll get to in a second. So let's just talk about where we are right now. I would say today, but what I really mean is, I guess, yesterday. And then kind of what I'll be showing you is tomorrow. So Agentforce in GA can handle all of your inbound calls, can do escalation, it can keep track of everything that was said, it can figure out the key entities, map those to records so that you save everything for your telephony calls. What I'm really excited to talk about, and this will just play it now, is multi-lang. Just 2 weeks ago, we announced our first language, which is French in GA. And people have been asking us all the time, like, when are the other languages gonna come out? And candidly, it's been hard because I don't speak all these languages. I only speak one. But with the entire organization, we've been really hard at work, and we have a whole new batch of languages to announce.
Was kann ich für die tun?
Ja, hallo, ich habe eine Windturbine bei euch gekauft und jetzt würde ich gern wissen, ob es dafür einen Wartungsvertrag gibt.
Könntest du mir bitte die Seriennummer der Windturbine nennen, damit ich die Wartungsinformationen überprüfen kann?
Okay, wo finde ich denn so eine Seriennummer?
So that was
Selecciona la opción de vinculación y sigue las instrucciones para asociar tu cuenta de Netflix existente. Si encuentras algún problema, verifica que la dirección de correo electrónico que estás utilizando para vincular tu cuenta sea la misma que usaste al registrarte en Netflix. Si el problema persiste, puedes contactar al soporte técnico de Easy para obtener ayuda adicional. ¿Te gustaría que te envíe esta información por correo electrónico?
Ah oui, alors je suis embêté parce que ce jour-là, je serai au Service Summit, donc pas dispo pour réceptionner le colis.
Quelle chance d'assister au Service Summit à Paris. Je suis jaloux. Pouvez-vous me donner une nouvelle date pour la livraison? Je mettrai à jour votre commande immédiatement.
Ah oui, plutôt le jeudi suivant vers midi.
Parfait. Je mets à jour votre commande pour une livraison le jeudi 26 mars à 12 h.
ठीक है, लेकिन ऐसा हो नहीं रहा है। मैंने अपनी बहन की शादी के लिए एक शेरवानी ऑर्डर की थी और काफ़ी दिन हो गए, कोई अपडेट नहीं मिला है। आप कुछ हेल्प कर सकते हो?
वर हो चुका है 2 FS 293847।
Awesome. So the kind of full list is internally PIGS HJ, so Portuguese, both Brazilian and continental, Italian, German, Spanish, both Latin American Spanish and continental, Hindi, and also Japanese will be coming out in beta in May, June. These will be open betas, not pilots. You don't have to worry about ALAs. You'll be able to use these. They will have some areas of like lesser support around like custom pronunciations versus English, which we will be then working on and iterating on trying to get these to GA. After that, in Q3, 10 plus, to be honest, it's more like 20 plus. So we're talking Southeast Asian languages, Nordic languages, Chinese, I think Arabic as well. So we're really going to be hitting the ground running. Okay, going back a little bit to what I talked about, voice and text need different things. We had a text runtime, and then we were like, okay, voice needs to be a little bit snappier. We then made all these awesome changes, agent script, determinism for text. Also kind of hidden in that was we made that runtime meet all the performance requirements of voice. So now you have one runtime, both for voice and for text. Your voice agents can become text agents and vice versa with just a click of the button, and you don't sacrifice anything.
Hey, can you help me with my order here?
Before I can help with your order,
so this is just like a simple demo. We can probably cut this one off early, but as you're seeing, you have all of the new builder on the left side, agent script, all those components of it, which is way better than the old voice builder. And now you can use voice there. You can develop your agent in text and then easily deploy it on whatever voice channels you want. That kind of gets me to the next big thing I want to talk about. Voice channels with an S, no longer just telephony. People want to talk to you, your customers want to talk to you. They don't want to just use, they want to use their phone, but not just through phone calls. They also want to use WebSocket connections on your company site. We're supporting that with ECV2 coming out in May. They also want to be able to talk to you through your mobile apps. That's now in GA. They also want to be able to talk to you through WhatsApp. That's coming now in beta, and that's also incredibly valuable for some of these languages that we were talking about. So what you're really seeing is sort of like the maturation of Agentforce Voice, going from just getting it out there, it working in English now, it's going to be working across all these languages. It's going to have this increased fidelity and complexity that it can handle, and then it can live on all these surfaces that you want it for. So yeah, now I'm going to be talking about, you have these voice these voice agents, you still need to make sure they actually work and run them and see what happens. And that's where I'll be passing it off to Deepak.
Great, thank you, Will. Okay, before we get started, quick raise of hands. How many of you have built an agent today? Great, more than 50% of you. How many of, that's my next question. That's my next question. How many of you have shipped an agent to production with real traffic? Okay, half of you who have built. How many of you have learned from production and improved your agent? Great. I think the number kept reducing, which shows the importance of why operating an agent in production is difficult. Right? And we're going to cover how the platform, Agentforce platform, is helping address that. We'll be talking about two different aspects of operation. One is how do you operate your agent before you ship to production, meaning how do you test your agent, feel confident before you ship. And then once you ship your agent in production, how do you learn from, observe and learn and improve? So why is agentic system difficult to test and operate? When we all know in the traditional software, it's easy. It's all rule-based. You can codify your tests easily. For input A, output should be B. That's a test case. For input X, output should be Y. That's a test case. But with agentic systems that are LLM-based, it is not deterministic. We know when we interact with ChatGPT, for the same question, it'll give you different answers, all right answers. So that non-determinism is the value that agentic systems bring to the table. At the same time, it makes it difficult for operators. And that's the first one. Non-deterministic results is very difficult to assess and feel confident about. Second is you could have your SMEs test it manually, but that doesn't scale. People have tried doing it, but that doesn't scale. Most of you may have done it as your first step of testing your agents. The third one is super critical. As businesses, you want to make sure that your agents talk your language. If you make mistakes, if your agent makes mistakes, it's not the agent's fault, it's your fault as a business. So safety and ethical concerns become a big deal, and you want to guard against that. And the last one is super critical. This is an evolving space. We have been as a platform, we have seen this evolving over the last 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years. No standards exist, and everybody's figuring it out. So with that, we have a new testing center. We launched the first version of testing center back last year. It has been more than a year, but we have now an improved testing center, which is in beta. We plan to go to GA in June. Some of the capabilities here I'm going to demo is much better than the previous one. But let's watch the video, and then I'll talk about some of the salient features here. Before we go to the demo, the way we address the non-determinism is we employ a combination of assertion-based evaluations, which helps you figure out if the agent took the right path. Did it find the right topic for a user query? Did the right action get executed? Those are deterministic checks. Then, to evaluate whether the agent response was correct, that is where non-determinism comes in. We employ a combination of LLM-based judging, and then now we are getting into more agent-based simulations, which we'll demo.
I'm excited to show you Salesforce's new testing center, currently in open beta, which lives in Agentforce Studio, so you can now build, test, and observe your agents in one place. This evaluation tool is designed to help you with test case prep, batch testing, and evaluations. You'll likely begin your testing agent journey in Builder with some manual testing. Manual testing is insightful, but it's also time-consuming and may never cover the vast array of scenarios, which is where batch testing becomes essential. To get started, create a new test suite, add a test name, and select the agent you're looking to test. After applying any test conditions, you can choose to upload your own test cases or generate test cases using our test case generation service based on the agent's topics and actions. The final step is selecting your evaluations. Here you'll see out-of-the-box assertion-based evaluations such as agent topic and actions. You'll also see LLM judge-based evals and the ability to add your own custom evaluation. Here, you can select a template and specify which criteria you would like to evaluate your agent on. Once you create your test suite, test cases are generated, and you run tests, you'll be taken to a brand new grid-like view where you can see all of the results. The new testing center has flexible UI, which makes inline editing easy, where you can manage your test cases right in this grid view. You'll also be able to access any run history at the top of the test suite and see past test results for comparison. And finally, there's improved debugging with an enhanced JSON output analysis and greater visibility into agent execution for outputs and values. Testing agents is a critical step before deploying them. With Agentforce Testing Center, you have the tools you need to launch confidently by integrating objective and subjective evaluations, custom scores, and a robust framework to test contextually appropriate responses every time.
Okay, so with that, some key highlights that you saw. One, the UI is very flexible. You can, if you make some test cases either manually or use AI to generate, you can update them in the grid view. So that becomes a super easy thing for you to do, where AI can generate the first version of your test. You can go and edit them, review and edit. So that's the capability. The second one is run history. In the previous version of Testing Center, if you have used it, we do not show you run history. With this version, you have run history, meaning if you executed the same test suite yesterday and today, you can see the diff. You can compare them, and that's become super important for you. As you improve your agent, you can run the same test suite over and over again and have an easy way to compare. Third one, I'm super passionate about this, very interesting. A lot of customers have asked for this, which is, we started with out-of-the-box standard metrics. Standard metrics only go so far. You built an agent for your own need. You want to codify your quality criteria as rubric, which is where custom evaluations is a key feature that most users have asked for, and we are getting continued interest in this. Last one is debugging. Test cases fail, and they are intended to fail. How do you make sure that you can investigate why test cases failed and how you can improve both the test as well as the agent from those test failures? So these are 4 key capabilities that we showed. But then with all of this, what you saw is still a single question-by-question test. User asked this, did the agent respond well? But as you can imagine, most of the conversations are multi-turn conversations. You want to evaluate the whole conversation as an entity, because the agent may take multiple different paths to get to the outcome. All you care about is the outcome. Path is just a means to the end, which is where testing becomes even more difficult. Like, how do you make sure that you can have a full conversation input in your test case and test it? Because your agent, when it runs the conversation next time, it will be different. Right? So that there is a second level of non-determinism coming in here, which is where we are introducing this concept of simulation, which is, can we have an agent, a testing agent, interact with the actual agent at test, simulate conversations as an end user would do, and then have those conversations evaluated through metrics like task completion. We also have custom scoring available here. You can actually define your own prompt to evaluate the full conversation. But the idea here is simulate the user persona. You can pick a persona. You can generate conversations through simulation, and then you can have evaluate the conversation against standard metrics and your own custom criteria. With that, let me quickly show this demo. Can we play it from here?
Agentforce Studio's new testing center has just expanded its capability to support beyond single turn to conversational level testing. This feature is open for private pilot customers. Conversational testing allows you to now test multi-turn conversations for both chat and voice agents. Instead of manually testing in Builder Preview, both are supported to run multi-turn simulations in Testing Center. Let's get started. Navigate to Agentforce Studio in App Launcher, which is a central hub for creating and testing AI agents. Start from the left-hand side tab called Tests and click into New Test Suite to launch the wizard. The wizard experience will help you define test cases and evaluators. Define a distinct test name, select the voice or chat agent you want to test, and select conversational level testing. Skip test conditions for now and select the evaluation mode to either text mode or text and voice mode. You will see a library of currently limited but out-of-the-box personas that you can simulate your conversations with. For the sake of the demo, let's click on the frustrated persona. The next step is to either upload your own test cases with a CSV file or generate test cases based on topics and actions. The last step before finishing your test suite creation will be selecting the evaluators. We've introduced a brand new task resolution metric, which is an LLM judge to determine if the agent meaningfully understood and addressed the user's task by the end of the full conversation. The first column represents any test goals that are generated. Once you've edited those or are satisfied, you can go ahead and click Run Test. After a couple of minutes, you will see that the agent conversations have been generated. You can click into topic evaluations, see further session details, and also the task resolution column, which will show the evaluation score and reasoning for it. Let's click into one of the agent sessions and see if my service agent was able to respond properly to my frustrated customer.
Hi, my refrigerator is broken and I need it fixed.
I can help you with your refrigerator issue. Can you describe what exactly is broken or not working?
Oh, it's doing all the fun things at once, not cooling, making noises and leaking everywhere. What more could I ask for?
That sounds frustrating. Let's start by troubleshooting your refrigerator. Is it completely not cooling? Or is it just less cold than usual? Where's the noise coming from, inside or the back?
It's still running, but it's as useful as a cardboard box. The leak is underneath and the noise is coming from the back.
For any text-only conversations, you will be able to view the full session preview without the audio player. Thank you in advance for trying out our pilot feature, and we look forward to continuously improving with any feedback.
Yeah, as you saw, the voice recording we saw was simulated. It was a simulated conversation, but really realistically sounding. So that's the power of this. We use simulation as a way to generate realistic conversations, simulating the user persona that you care about, interacting with your agent, and then we can evaluate automatically, and you can define your own custom criteria for evaluation.
And just to jump in here, this tool was also developed with our AI research team too. So you're straight from the PhDs.
This is research coming into product, so with deep collaboration with our AI research team.
So like you're sort of getting frontier level harnesses right there for you, which I think is really exciting.
Great call out, Will. So now we have looked at how to test your agent before you ship to production with confidence. Now that's not the end. Now is where the journey begins. You want to make sure that once your agent is in production, you have good tracing in place so you can observe your agent, make sure your agent is doing well, and then you can correct your agent's mistake by optimizing the agent. With that, I will call out two of the capabilities here. We have a long roadmap, and there is a deeper session on observability. Feel free to go have a look at there. Custom scorers. We looked at customs evaluation as part of testing. With this capability, we are bringing the same thing to production, meaning you can define your criteria once at testing time, and you can activate your production sessions with those criteria. Meaning, let's say you have your own hallucination detection, or your own conciseness check as your custom criteria, or your own brand voice as a custom check as an LLM judge. You can do that during testing time. You can run your tests, and then you can say, activate this evaluator or scorer in production against all of my sessions. So all of your sessions in production will be scored using that rubric, and then you can actually evaluate your agent in production against that criteria. So super powerful. It's an automated way of tagging your agent quality in production using your own criteria. Next one is agent health monitoring. Again, like all of analytics and observability, you can go and figure out yourself. But most of the time when issues happen, they are silent failures. You want to get notified proactively as opposed to you having to go reactively looking at these dashboards and analyzing results yourself, which is where we introduced this concept of health monitoring, agent health monitoring. We have this in beta right now, planning to go GA by May. So with this, you can actually monitor 3 of the metrics that are called out here: error rate, average latency, and escalation rate. You can set thresholds, and when the thresholds hit, you will get alerted in email or in Slack. So with that, I think we are over operate. I'm handing over to Shiv to cover orchestrate.
Thank you. Yeah, so over the last year or so, there's been a tremendous success in terms of Agentforce adoption that we have seen from customers. The focus was still in terms of individual agents and kind of using them for the use cases that they care about. And even from a platform perspective, the focus was on the agent development lifecycle in terms of building, testing, and observing individual agents. And as we started to kind of see some of our kind of mature customers increase the use cases that they want to use agentic AI, we started to see kind of 2 trends. The first one is the customer has a single agent. They want to increase the number of use cases that they can kind of address using that agent. The natural kind of direction that customers were taking was kind of add more number of kind of actions, more data to the same agent. But it used to hit a point where, obviously, as the agent is bloating, the performance of the agent started to kind of deteriorate. And it also becomes very hard to kind of maintain as well from a testing perspective, in terms of iterating on the agent perspective. And that was the trend that we saw with kind of having these monolithic agents and the performance starting to suffer. Now, the other kind of approach, which is like the other extreme that we have also seen, is customers kind of investing in kind of individual agents kind of developed in silo. Obviously, the advantage here is that you can kind of spin off easily develop these agents in isolation, test them, and kind of launch them into production. But from a user perspective, it poses a challenge, because as a user, now you have to figure out, I have a problem, I need some answer, or I need some task to be kind of completed, which agent do I go to, right? So that becomes a challenge. You're kind of dealing with a maze of agents. And also from an admin perspective, there's also the other challenge is that you don't have like a centralized governance through which you can manage all the agents that you have. And that's where we are kind of introducing this new capability, Agentforce multi-agent orchestration. The idea here is that you have a single agent that is user-facing, that is a single point of contact across all the channels that you have, and the users are interacting essentially with this single orchestrator or brand agent. And that brand agent is in turn interacting with a team of specialized agents that are specialized and can do specific tasks really well. So the way it works is that when a request comes in, the orchestrator breaks down the task, understands the intent, breaks down the task into multiple steps, identifies what's the right agent to kind of invokes that agent, and once the response is kind of generated by that specific agent, it then goes back to the user with the final response. And the advantage we have with this kind of architecture is also that you still get that trusted governance and kind of observability across these agents. So for example, in the session trace UI, you get a single thread in terms of the trace view, which kind of shows you end-to-end interaction right from the time a user request came in and all the agent invocations that might have happened before the final response being sent back. So we're looking at the entire kind of agentic lifecycle in terms of how can we kind of empower our customers with the right testing capabilities, right observability capabilities, and so on from a multi-agent perspective. This capability is currently in pilot. We have been testing this out with a dozen customers. We will be open beta, open for all customers later this month, and we will be generally available in June. And we're not stopping there. We understand that our customers work with a number of vendors, and there are agentic capabilities that are being kind of developed in each of these vendors as well. So what we are kind of and our intention is to be truly open and kind of an interoperable platform where you can kind of integrate with agentic capabilities in other platforms as well. So again, the idea is that the customer is still kind of interacting with a single agent across channels, which we call as the super agent. And this super agent can be an Agentforce agent, or it could be a third-party agent. And then this orchestrator is then in turn interacting with a team of specialist agents, which are either Agentforce agents that are in a single Salesforce org that can be distributed across multiple Salesforce orgs as well, or it could be third-party agents that you want to be integrated, and it could be a hybrid of all these agents as well. And again, from a governance and observability perspective, you get full visibility into how your users are interacting, what kind of responses they are getting, and what's happening behind the scenes, so that you can take corrective actions, or you can improve the ultimate outcome that you're getting from these agents. This is currently under pilot, and this will be generally available by Q3 of this year. Now, kind of switching gears to the other kind of key feature, interoperability feature that we are launching is Agentforce MCP support. Now, with kind of the use case where you would be using MCP support is essentially when you want to integrate with an external MCP server, external platform to kind of either get answers from a knowledge source, or you want to kind of execute an action on a third-party platform, you could use MCP integration. It's essentially kind of replacing the bespoke point-to-point integrations that you have with APIs, but using a open standard protocol that's available for integration, which significantly kind of accelerates agentic deployment. This is currently in beta, and we will be GAing next month. And from a kind of a development lifecycle perspective, we have just launched Agent Exchange, which is very, very similar to App Exchange. You can kind of discover these different servers and capabilities, and the admin can choose to register specific servers that they want the integration to happen. And then once that happens, once that registration happens, builders can then go in Agentforce Builder, connect to any of these servers, and pick specific tools or actions that they want to integrate within the agent. And also, we have this notion of Agentforce policies that you can build. There will be some out-of-the-box policies that are available, and you can build your own policies, for example, PII detection or kind of prompt decoration and things like that, that you can make sure that when you're calling these external systems, you have certain policies that are applied from an integration perspective.
All right, well, thank you so much for exploring the roadmap and for coming. And one more time, get up for our speakers.
Thank you.